Cortron, this is Bloodhound. Possible sub, bearing.
170.
Range.
310.
From Bloodhound.
Roger, Bloodhound. Continue to evaluate your contact and attack if warranted.
Roger. Evaluate and prosecute. Bloodhound out.
Combat sonar. Contact. Able. Now bears 172. Range 3,000 yards. Very strong propeller noise. Lookouts. Anything at 172.
I see nothing! Bearing! 172.
Combat sonar. Contact. Able. Now bears 174. Range 2,900 yards. Estimated depth shallow. Contact. Able. Coming in much more strongly. I evaluate as a definite contact.
Captain I, officer of the deck, set general quarters.
Set general quarters. Aye. General quarters. General quarters. All hands man your battle stations. Set conditions zebra throughout the ship.
Stern depth charge detail manned and ready. Main battery ports manned and ready. Engineering officer watch reports engineering manned and ready. Zebra set. 4 boilers online. Max speed 32 knots. Electric plant split. All fire pumps online.
Very well.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Destroyer Das U-Boat Hunter. Alright, well, we're gonna try and finish up this particular mission this go around. It's been a little while since I made a video. I've had lots of work and various other things. Now in this video I'm actually gonna start talking about the history of the design of the Fletcher class destroyer, because we are on a Fletch right now, which historically does not make a whole lot of sense. There was only one Fletcher that actually operated in the Atlantic, like on operations, not a shakedown cruise. But yeah, this is my commentary is mostly going to be filled with lots of boring kind of design history of it, but it is kind of important. Now, if you do have a problem with me blabbering on about the history, well, let me just say that that's the way I run this channel, and if you don't like it, then I suggest a really radical idea. You could go watch someone else. Anyway, most of the information does come from the Norman Friedman Design History series, particularly his book on destroyers, hence why I would be using that. So, anyway, we have a contact up here. We're going to approach it and see if we can get it. As for the Fletcher-class destroyers, on 16 October of 1939, the U.S. Navy General Board began a series of discussion on the growing size of warships. Destroyers generally have the roles of torpedo attack platforms, anti-submarine warfare, and escort duty. Therefore, future ships would need to have pretty heavy torpedo armament, anti-submarine weapons, and a very high speed. Captain Crenshaw of the Warplanes Division believed that 10 tubes mounted on the centerline of a destroyer would be adequate for torpedo attacks, while Admiral Furlong of the Bureau of Ordnance wanted 12 torpedoes at the minimum. But he conceded that 10 torpedo tubes and 4 reloads would probably suffice. Additionally, Captain Crenshaw wanted ships to carry 28 depth charges. Now, with this amount, a 7-charge pattern would give 4 patterns in total. He also envisioned 2 Y guns on the center line and 5 main battery guns, but 4 guns would be acceptable, in his opinion. Now, in contrast, Admiral Leary of Fleet Training advocated for a heavier anti-submarine warfare loadout with twice the standard amount of depth charges. And with these various competing desires, a competition for centerline space on the ship was clearly playing out. And that's one thing that will pretty much always dominate mounting weapons on a destroyer. Right? You cannot have a ship with everything on it. You have to have some compromises on it, and arguably the most important real estate, particularly on a destroyer, is center line space, because it can engage targets on either side of the vessel. It looks like we got ourselves a periscoping, or a U-boat at periscope depth. Anyway, Admiral Ernest King, then on the General Board before becoming the Chief Naval Operations, wanted a ship with 5 guns, 12 torpedoes, and 28 depth charges.
On target.
On a side note, Norman Friedman points out that it's strange that nobody seems to have considered the use of K guns in place of Y guns, which would have saved centerline space
Fire.
because K-guns only fire off of one particular side of a vessel.
Lost
In
contact.
terms of speed,
Baker,
Captain Crenshaw
last
wanted a
bearing,
ship capable of 38 knots,
171.
and
Last
Admirals
range,
Leary and Furlong
1,100
wanted no less
yards.
than 36
Combat
knots.
sonar. Lost contact.
Captain
Able.
J.M. Irish
Last bearing,
of the Bureau of
0,
Engineering noted that a speed of 38
Last
knots would
range,
require about
400
20%
yards.
more
Combat
power
sonar.
and
Regain
10% more
contact.
weight with a
Able.
larger
Bearing,
engineering space.
090.
Commander Cochrane of the Preliminary
600
Design
yards.
Bureau,
0.
or
Course,
Preliminary
0,
Design Board,
90.
further
Visor.
mentioned that this would increase the ship's length, its displacement, and majorly alter its design. In fact, the earlier Sims-class destroyers
Combat
needed
sonar.
lead ballast
Fire
to
one.
compensate for
Now
their
bears
excessive top
1,
heaviness.
3, fire 9.
Commander Cochrane believed that
30
increasing the beam by 18
yards.
inches
Bearing
with an
3.
increase
Combat
of
sonar.
15 to
Lost
20
contact.
tons
Able.
and a
Last
speed
bearing,
loss of
1,
about 0.2 knots would
9.
correct the
Last
problem.
range, 30 yards.
Thus, on 17 October 1939, the tentative characteristics of the new destroyer would be a ship of no more than 1,600 tons with a trial speed of 36 knots, an endurance of 6,500 nautical miles at 12 knots, at 4 months out of dry dock, and with an armament of at least 4 5-inch 38 caliber guns, 4 to 6 50 caliber machine guns for anti-air defense, 2 quintuple torpedo tubes on the center line with 4 reloads, and 28 depth charges with 2 racks and no fewer than 2 throwers. Now, of course, this is merely the beginning. 3 alternative designs were suggested: a modified Benson Livermore class with increased depth charge stowage, a ship with 4 5-inch 38 caliber guns with the number 3 gun removed and used for depth charge and torpedo stowage, and the third would be a ship with 4 dual-purpose guns in a combination of single and twin mounts. Now, there are various sub-designs of this last third design, where one had a twin mount fore and aft, or there was one twin mount fore and aft, another had one twin mount forward and 2 single mounts aft, and the third had 2 single mounts forward and 1 twin mount aft.
Stand by to fire.
This third design reduced the profile of the ship, but it was conceded that a single hit to the twin mount would knock it out and thus reduce half the firepower of the ship. Additionally, the single mounts were hand trainable in the event of a power failure, and it was believed they fired faster than twin mounts anyway.
Charlie now bears 0.
Now, in November, the Bureau of Construction and Repair, or C&R, offered 6 alternative schemes based on the Sims class with an increased beam of 1 foot. All featured a 50,000 shaft horsepower plant, which would produce a speed of around 36.5 to 37 knots and an endurance of about 6,500 nautical miles at 15 knots. Furthermore, these ships lacked the 6 machine guns. Schemes 1 and 2 had 5 and 4 single gun mounts respectively, whereas Scheme 5 had 2 single mounts and 1 twin mount aft. Scheme 6 had 1 twin mount forward and 3 single mounts aft. So this meant that Scheme 1 was more or less a modified existing design, with Scheme 2 being the most well-rounded and in line with the requirements, although possessing only 4 single gun mounts. It was believed to have the greatest flexibility and volume of fire in the main battery. Well, looks like I got some near hits there. Alright. I said Antler did.
Sonar. This is the captain. Perform combat sonar. New sonar contact. Bearing.
Well, Antler's doing pretty good.
92.
Now, Schemes 4 and 6 also had pairs of K-guns along their aft deck houses. The standard wartime practice was to carry 3 depth charge reloads in the roller loader next to each K-gun. The stern tracks would also have 5 or more charges each. Now, in terms of personnel, Admiral Furlong preferred Scheme 1 for its additional gun mount and believed having a more standard destroyer design was important, so they wouldn't have to change designs yearly. Captain Crenshaw also enjoyed Scheme 1, but wanted 30 tons of protection added to the engineering spaces of Scheme 2. Commander Cochrane noted that this would add roughly about a quarter of an inch of plating over these spaces. Cochrane later introduced another flush deck design based on Scheme 2, which would displace around 1,685 tons, but create better stability. This became Scheme 7.
Range 2,300 yards. Contact Charlie.
Gosh, it's
now
so
bears
hazy
0,
out I can't even
8,
see the target.
7.
Don't worry, we've got him on radar.
2,200 yards.
Stand by to fire.
Now, 4 more designs were requested by the General Board on 24 November. One design became the progenitor of the Fletcher class. This featured 5 guns, 8 to 10 torpedo tubes, and a half-inch of STS plating over the machinery spaces to protect against 50 caliber machine gun fire. STS means Special Treatment Steel. Another design was virtually identical but had STS plating over the fire and ship control spaces. The third design had a combination of protection. The fourth design was a modified Scheme 2, that is, Scheme 2A, with 3 quadruple torpedo tubes, an additional frame, that is 21 inches of space, in each engine room, and depth charge stowage next to the throwers, and STS protection over the gun director, pilot house, and director tube. Additional studies examined adding a half-inch and 3/4 of an inch of STS plating. Scheme 8 was basically Scheme 1 with half an inch of plating and an increase of 30 tons for a displacement of 1,825 tons on a 355-foot hull. Scheme 9 evaluated the 3/4 inch plating, which resulted in a 1,900-ton, 369-foot hull. These 2 schemes also looked at adding a larger power plant. In late December, the Bureau of Construction and Repair came up with Scheme 10, which was a 362-foot hull with a 60,000 shaft horsepower power plant. A half-inch of protection displacing 2,000 tons as well. A modified Scheme 10, that is 10B, featured a 365-foot hull with half-inch of STS plating over the machinery spaces and 3/4 of an inch over the bridge. At this point, the General Board gave up on the idea of having a small fleet destroyer and admitted that the ship might as well have protection against both bomb fragments and strafing. On 6 January 1940, 2 more design schemes were requested. Scheme 10C had 3/4 of an inch of plating over the sides and the deck. This increased the displacement to 2,068 tons on a 365-foot hull. Scheme 10E was a 369-foot hull with a displacement of 2,082 tons. Since these were larger designs, ooh, we got a good run there. Some regular damage, some near hits. Now, since these were larger designs, on 9 January, the General Board added the provision for a director-controlled quadruple 1.1-inch cannon. 4 50-caliber machine guns, 2 which would be in front of the bridge, abaft the number 2 main battery, and 2 on the main deck at the waist of the ship. 4 torpedo reloads and 28 depth charges with an additional 14 were also provided. Protection would be a half-inch of STS plating on the deck and 3/4 of an inch on the sides around the pilot house. The main gun director and director tube would also have that armor as well. The 2 forward 5-inch guns will be enclosed, with the 3 after ones being open mounts. Alright, well, we're coming up on Antler. Looks like they're attacking
Surface
Dog.
radar has regained contact. Baker, bearing 3.
Ooh, that was a good hit. Critical damage.
3,500 yards.
Bridge, starboard lookout. Oil slick bearing 0, 0.
Ooh, oil slick, huh?
Combat sonar. Lost contact.
Now, around this time, the
Last
naval
bearing,
bureaus
0,
actually
0,
had gone through a
3.
restructuring,
Last
and the
range,
bureaus of
800
construction and
yards.
repair and the Bureau of Engineering were merged together to form the Bureau of Ships, or BU ships.
Handler, this is Bloodhound.
They noted that the
Attack your
preliminary
contact.
design, while larger, would not show any improvement in the internal layout compared to earlier classes of destroyers due to the loss of the forecastle, since the new designs were actually flush decked. The wardroom would need to be moved to from the main deck to the first platform, and the crew's mess would need to be moved to the second platform, which decreased space on the deck in the forward part of the vessel. These changes would also mean there would be no room on the center line for the 1.1-inch gun director. Instead, 2 directors would need to be put on either side of the after funnel. In the end, these were the various design schemes for the Fletcher-class destroyer. Design details were drawn up by Gibbs and Cox, and orders were made even before the start of fiscal year 1941 on 9 September.
Contact Dog.
The sheer extent of production for this class resulted in various shipyards being opened up or expanded. Bethlehem in San Pedro, California, formerly just a repair facility, was upgraded to merchant status and then naval status.
2,200 yards.
The Gulf Shipbuilding Company
Combat
in
sonar.
Chickasaw,
Contact.
Alabama,
Able.
received
Bearing.
additional funding from the Maritime
2,
Administration
9,
and the U.S.
7,
Navy
range,
for expansion.
2,600 yards.
Consolidated Steel Corporation in Long Beach, California, opened up a whole new destroyer yard in Orange, Texas. Seattle Tacoma also opened up new facilities for expanding manufacturing as
Contact.
well.
Baker now bears 309er range.
Ooh, boom, we got him. Look at that.
We've lost Sergeant Sullivan.
But we
All
lost
ships,
Sergeant Sullivan.
maneuver to avoid.
Not Sergeant Sullivan. He was
Lost
carrying all the
contact.
booze.
Baker, last bearing. 3,
But hey, we
09er.
we did the old
Last
Greyhound
range,
and blasted a
1,600 yards.
submarine with a 5-inch
Mohawk
gun.
and Hudson.
The
It's
bestest
sinking.
gun for
Estimated
anti-submarine
depth.
warfare
Fire.
ever.
Fire.
Anyway. Well, we got one. And another was sunk by Antler. Alright, let's go after Able.
Hard
Yes,
left
let's
rudder.
turn. Let's
Hard
not
left
hit
rudder.
anything.
Aye, sir.
That would be a bad thing. Collisions are to be avoided.
Combat sonar.
Now, ultimately,
Contact.
the
Able.
destroyer USS
Now
Fletcher,
bears
that is
2,
destroyer
8,
445,
0.
as
Range,
designed, had the following
2,100
dimensions.
yards.
It had an overall
Contact
length of
increasing depth.
376
We've
feet
lost
6
Mohawk
inches,
and Hudson. All
369
ships,
feet
maneuver
at the
to
water
avoid.
line,
Bridge,
a beam of
port lookout,
39
merchant
feet
ship,
8 inches,
CBDR,
and a draft of
bearing,
22
3,
feet 8 inches.
1, 8. Range closing
So this
quickly.
gave it
I
a
say
block
again,
coefficient
CBDR.
of 0.499, a midship coefficient of 0.799, and a water plane coefficient of 0.756,
900 yards.
with a design
Strong
displacement of
propeller
around
noise.
2,700 tons. This was originally 2,550 tons, but the increase is due to more ammo being carried.
I say again, CBDR.
Her design and trial shaft
Handle.
horsepower is around
This is Bloodhound.
60,000
Proceed
shaft
to engage
horsepower.
Contact. Able.
That will give her a
Roger.
speed of
And
about
combat sonar.
37.8
Contact.
knots
Able.
as a
Now
design
bears
speed and a
6,
trial speed of
5,
35.1 knots.
1,600
Her designed
yards.
endurance was
Estimated depth,
6,500 nautical miles at 15
combat
knots
sonar.
on trial,
Contact. Able. Now
and
bears
4,800 nautical
2,
miles at 15
6,
knots,
range,
4,150 nautical miles at 20 knots
Strong propeller noise.
in wartime.
Bridge, port lookout. Object 1/2 to the horizon. Bearing 208. Appears to be periscope feather. Bloodhound picking up.
Now, she could generally do about 4,900 nautical miles at 12 knots, 4,490 nautical miles at 15 knots, 3,480 nautical miles at 20 knots, when she's at about a displacement of about 2,850 tons, at least during wartime, I believe.
1/2 to the horizon. Bearing.
They had an
2,
overall tactical
1,
diameter of
1.
950
Appears to be
yards
periscope
when
feather.
proceeding ahead at about 30 knots. For armament, they had 5-inch 38 caliber guns, 10 21-inch
sonar.
torpedo
Contact.
tubes,
Able.
2
Now
40mm
bears
Bofor
2,
guns,
2,
6
8,
20mm
range,
Oerlikon guns,
1,200 yards.
2 depth
Bearing
charge
steady.
tracks with 26 600-pound charges, 6 depth charge projectors with 30 charges. She has a Mark 37 gunfire control system, a torpedo fire control system, and a Mark 51 anti-air fire control system. She's fitted with a QC sonar.
Combat sonar. Lost contact.
A complement of
Able.
9
Last
officers
bearing,
and
2,
264
2,
enlisted.
8. Last range.
Her power plant
1,100
is
yards.
4 Babcock
Bloodhound.
and
This is
Wilcox
Antler.
boilers,
Antler now
generating
has sonar
about
contact.
615
Able.
psi
Bearing,
at
2,
850 degrees
5.
Fahrenheit.
Range. 1,200
She has 2
yards
ship
from
service
Bloodhound.
turbo generators,
0.
creating
Course,
about
0,
250
0.
kilowatts
Aye, sir.
of alternating current and 40 kilowatts of direct current power,
From radar.
and one
Bearing
100 kilowatt
170.
diesel generator.
Range 6,400 yards. I designate contact easy. Time 18:22.
Bloodhound, this is Antler. Antler now has sonar contact.
Things
Able.
are getting a
Bearing
bit
2,
confused.
0, 6. Range 800 yards from Bloodhound.
Bridge, port lookout. Object 1/2 to the horizon. Bearing 2, 0,
Alright,
2.
well, I think I'm
Appears to
gonna
be periscope feather.
cut my discussion
Bloodhound,
on
this is
the
Antler.
design
Antler
of
now
the
has sonar
Fletcher class
contact.
right
Able.
there, and next time I'll talk a little bit more about
197.
their
Range,
construction
500
and
yards
the
from
modifications that
Bloodhound.
were made to their
Sonar.
armament
This is the
systems
captain.
and all that. So we'll save that for another time.
171.
In the meantime, let's get back to talking about the game here.
Investigating arc 171 through
Bloodhound, this is Antler. Antler now has sonar contact. Able. Bearing 148. Range 500 yards from Bloodhound.
all engines ahead 2/3.
All engines ahead 2/3.
Aye, sir. Bloodhound.
Alright, let's
this
pick
is
these
Antler.
guys
Antler now
up,
has
slow her
sonar
down. In
contact.
fact,
Able.
all stop.
Bearing 173. Range 1,000 yards from Bloodhound.
Combat
Antler,
sonar.
you get able.
Gain contact. Able. Bearing 175.
I don't want to run these guys over. I think we're too slow.
Bloodhound picking up
There we go.
survivors from Mohawk and Hudson.
From the Mohawk and the Hudson.
Combat sonar. Contact. Able. Now bears 175.
I'm actually kind of concerned because this contact is really close to us. Like, yeah. But Antler is hopefully keeping him down.
Object 1/2 to the horizon. Bearing 129. Appears to be periscope feather.
1/2 to the horizon. Where is it?
Combat
I do not want to be sitting here just at a dead stop. When a submarine might be bearing down on me, ready to put a torpedo into me. They fire fish, and not the good kind.
Bloodhound, this is Antler. Antler made a depth charge attack on contact. Able. Unknown results.
Combat sonar. Contact. Able. Now bears 169.
Range 1,100 yards.
All right.
Strong propeller
Let's
noise.
get out of here.
Combat sonar. Lost contact. Able. Last bearing.
All right, come to 170.
9.
Last range 1,000 yards.
Bloodhound finished picking up survivors from Mohawk and Hudson.
Combat
All
sonar.
right, we saved the
Regain
men from the
contact.
frigid,
Able.
cold
Bearing
depths of the Atlantic.
168. Range 1,000.
They won't have to suffer the fate of the Titanic survivors.
085 through 175. Aye, sir. Ready depth charges. Medium pattern.
7.
All right, we're bearing
2.
down on
Range closing quickly.
Charlie.
I say again. CBDR.
Fire
Alright.
sonar. Contact. Charlie. Now bears. Fire 2. 4. 1. Range.
And we was always
2
looking for
3.
this guy
Estimated
named
depth,
Charlie.
Shallow. Combat sonar. Lost contact. Charlie. Last bearing. 3. 4. 1. Last range. 200 yards. Sonar. This is the captain. Perform active search. 3 2 2 2
Yeah,
0
we still
5
got
2.
easy
Active
out
search.
there.
3 2 2 through 0
And possibly
5
able.
2. Aye, sir.
Any luck? No, not quite.
Sonar.
All right,
This is the
pick it back
captain.
up.
Investigate arc. 1. Combat sonar. Regain
There we go, we got
contact.
Charlie again.
Charlie. Bearing. 1 9.
Come to 200.
Range 400 yards. Investigating arc. 1 4 5 through 2 3 5. Aye, sir.
All right, here we come again.
Course. 1 4 5. Course 1. Combat
Got our
sonar.
midships.
Contact. Charlie. Now bears 1 5 0. Range
200
Here we
yards.
go.
Contact increasing depth.
TRR's looking good. Get ready to drop. And roll them.
Fire
Combat
1.
sonar.
Lost contact. Charlie. Last bearing. Fire 2. 5 0. Last range. Fire 3 yards.
I got a buddy who's a
Bloodhound,
Vietnam
this
War
is Antler.
veteran. He
Antler
served
lost
aboard
contact.
a
Able. Last known at bearing 2
what the heck was it called?
Range
USS
700
Hammer.
yards from
He was a
Bloodhound.
boiler technician in the Navy. So, which was pretty interesting hearing some of his stories.
Sonar.
Said they were going up and
This
down
is
the coast of
captain.
Vietnam,
Investigate
doing
arc.
counter battery
2
fire
8 6
against like SAM
2
sites and
0
AA
1
guns
6.
and all that stuff.
Investigating arc. 2 8 6 through.
But he was
0
telling me like,
1 6.
boiler technicians
Aye, sir.
do not exist in the Navy anymore. It's a obsolete rating, so it's not used anymore because no Navy ships run on boilers. So he was talking to me one time about how he operated with Coast Guard cutter Chase, at the time a fairly new 378
All
foot
engines ahead.
Hamilton class high endurance cutter.
Combat sonar.
And those things just have
Regain
diesel
contact.
engines
Charlie,
and gas
bearing
turbine
3
engines in them. And he
0
said like
1.
one time the
Range
Chase, Coast Guard
600
cutter
yards.
Chase just took off,
Bloodhound, this is
right?
Antler.
And they just
Antler made a depth charge
dusted
attack
him. They
on
just left him
contact.
right in the
Able.
dust, you
Unknown
know?
results.
He's like, man, those things can accelerate. So yeah.
All
And you don't have to worry
engines
about
ahead,
building up a
All
good head of
engines ahead,
steam,
standard.
right? You just
Aye, sir. Combat
turn on
sonar. Lost
turn on
contact. Charlie.
the gas
Last bearing.
turbines, and
1,
yeah, they
9,
really
fire
do
2.
accelerate.
Last range 100 yards. Fire 3.
General Grant is sinking.
Not General Grant.
Antler, reporting.
Antler, this is Bloodhound. Proceed to engage contact. Easy.
Roger.
All right, Antler, I'm
engaging
getting
contact.
concerned.
Easy.
Bridge, poor lookout. Floating debris. Bearing 1.
Floating
5,
debris.
3.
Combat sonar.
Think we
Regain
must have got him.
contact. Able. Bearing 3, 9. Range 100 yards.
We've lost General Grant. All ships. Maneuver to avoid.
Combat sonar.
All right,
Lost
well, we
contact.
do have we got
Able.
radar contact
Last
with
bearing.
Easy.
3, 9. Last range 100 yards.
Bridge, poor lookout. Oil slick. Bearing 1, 4, 6.
3, 4, 0. Course 3, 4, 0. Aye, sir.
I'm debating if I want to go after those survivors or
Hard right rudder. Hard right rudder.
watch out.
Aye,
Let's
sir.
not hit Antler here. I think I had Antler go after Able. Yeah, she definitely looks like a river class frigate, I'll say that much. Thank God they're faster than the old Flower class corvettes. They don't pillow around, you know. You want those things to go faster, you better jump out and push.
Antler, this is Bloodhound. Proceed to engage.
Roger. Antler engaging.
Alright, Antler, get him.
Investigating arc 0.
Meantime,
7.
let's see if we can find
6,
Easy.
7. Sonar eye.
Bridge, starboard
For today,
lookout.
we will call it
Oil slick
Echo.
bearing 1, 9, 2.
Contact.
Easy. Now bears 1.
Fire at will.
6.
Just make sure you shoot at will, not Bob or Bill
Stand by
or
to fire. Start
James
tracking
or anything like
contact.
that.
Fire required. Target bearing. 1,
Yes.
3, 3.
All ahead
Range.
flank.
Fire. 4,500 yards.
Contact. Easy. Now bears
Fire.
1.
Ah, there he is. He's on the surface.
Range 4,400 yards. 1, 2, 0. Aye, sir.
Fire. Fire. Bearing. 1, 3,
Man, we're
1.
shooting
Range.
all over the place.
4,200 yards. Fire.
Only with our
Contact.
2 forward
Easy.
mounts.
Now bears 1, 3, 1.
Fire.
Range 4,100
Now,
yards.
from what I've read, there's a difference
Fire.
between a mount and a turret. A turret
Fire.
has a barbette, an armored, cylinder,
Through 1, 7.
and an armored
3.
trunk
Combat
that goes
sonar.
down
Fire.
into
Investigating
the
arc.
hull
0,
of the
8,
vessel.
3,
It's like a battleship
1,
has
7,
turrets.
3. Sonar eye.
Stand by
In
to fire.
contrast, a
Target
mount
bearing.
is something
1,
that's
3,
like
fire. Range.
kind of attached to the
1,800
deck
yards.
of a
Contact.
vessel.
Easy.
So
Now
destroyers
On
have
target.
mounts.
Fire.
3, 3.
As far as I know, there's no barbette that goes down
Fire.
beneath the gun.
Target bearing. 1,
protect
fire.
the
7.
magazines.
Range. 1 on target. Fire. On target.
So if something goes
Contact.
awry and you
Easy.
get shot
Now
and
bears
a shell
1,
penetrates
fire.
into the
3,
magazine,
6.
On target. Fire.
then there's no hope for surviving.
Fire.
That ship's
Target
going
bearing.
down.
1, 3, 5. Range. 1,000. On target. Fire.
But hey, it's all semantics. Turret, mount,
Fire.
whatever.
Contact.
Just like screw,
Easy.
propeller,
Now
man,
bears
same
1,
thing. It spins, it
3,
turns,
2.
it moves water,
Range
makes the ship go.
1,100 yards.
Fire.
Yeah, I mean, sailors are
engines
kind of
ahead,
funny like
standard.
that. They
All
get
engines ahead,
real
stand by.
pedantic.
Aye, sir.
It's not the ceiling, it's an overhead. It's not a deck. It's not a floor, it's a deck.
course.
It's not a
1,
wall, it's
3.
a
Lost
bulkhead.
contact.
Okay,
Easy. Last
what's the
bearing.
difference between a
1,
door and a
3,
hatch?
2.
So,
Last range 1,000 yards.
Bridge, poor lookout. Object 1/2 to the horizon.
that would be a
Bearing,
periscopy.
1, 4. Appears to be periscope feather. Bridge, poor lookout. Object
That
1/2
is-
to the horizon. Bearing 1, 1.
Is that
4.
easy?
Appears to be periscope feather.
Antler picking up survivors from General
Thank you,
Grant.
Antler. Make yourself useful.
Bridge, poor lookout. Object 1/3
Alright, I'm
to
just
the
gonna
horizon.
eyeball this
Bearing,
sucker.
1, 1, 3.
We're getting close.
Appears to be periscope feather.
Course 1, 3, 0. Aye, sir. All engines ahead full.
Okay, get
All
ready.
engines ahead full. Aye, sir.
And Fire!
Fire 1.
Oh, that is a
Fire
good
2, picking up
roll.
survivors from General
Oh, it is easy.
Fire 3.
Okay.
All engines
Good.
ahead standard. Aye, sir.
Maybe we'll get him.
Hard right rudder.
Hard
New
right rudder.
hits, very
Aye,
good.
sir. Bridge, starboard looking. Bridge,
Light
starboard
damage,
lookout.
regular
106
damage.
bearing, 306.
Sonar. This
Yeah,
is
we
the
don't need
captain.
these fancy
Perform
things. I
active
just have to,
search.
you know,
2, 6,
eyeball
6,
it, see how it goes.
3, 5, 6. Active search.
Don't worry,
2,
folks, I learned this in the
6,
Navy.
6, through 3, 5.
Antler, get over here, deal with
Aye, sir.
Charlie.
Antler, this is Bloodhound. Proceed to engage contact. Charlie.
Roger. Antler engaging contact. Charlie.
Rudder amidships.
Rudder amidships. Aye,
All
sir.
escorts. Contact easy, as most likely
All right,
been
very
sunk
good.
by
Got him.
Bloodhound. Well done.
That was easy. Easy was pretty easy.
Sonar, combat. Investigate arc. 333 through 063.
Combat sonar. Investigating arc. 333 through 063. Sonar I.
All right, we gotta find Abel. He's somewhere out
Surface
there.
radar has regained contact. Charlie, bearing 322. Range 3,100 yards.
Well, ooh, is Charlie close? Well, we got radar contact. Go to guns.
Fire. Target bearing. 3, 2,
Too
5,
close for depth
range,
charges. Switching to
3,000,
guns.
100 yards.
Contact. Charlie now bears
Come on.
325. Range 3,100 yards. 0. Course 300. Aye, sir.
Fire. Target bearing. 3, 2, 8. Range. 3,000. Fire. 100 yards.
Contact.
Again, if
Charlie
I could just get him
now
to submerge,
bears
that'll slow him down.
329er. Range 3,100 yards.
Fire.
We should be coming close to the
Fire.
end of this mission. We can just get Charlie.
Fire. Fire.
Lost
Fire.
contact. Charlie.
All right, I think we
last
drove him
bearing,
under.
332. Last range 2,800 yards. Sonar.
There we go. Let's see if we
This
can
is
get
the
him on the
captain.
sonar.
Bloodhound. This is Antler. Antler regained contact. Charlie. Bearing
Good, Antler.
3,
Now go get him.
7. Range 2,700 yards from Bloodhound.
Combat sonar. Regain contact. Able.
Oh, we found
bearing
Able. Good.
335. Range 2,000.
They're right next to each other. 335 and 337.
8, 9 through
What is going on
1,
here?
9.
Aye, sir. Combat sonar. Contact. Able. Now bears 340. Range 2,000.
It'd be kind of funny if we got them both in
Estimated
one
depth,
run.
medium.
Antler reporting.
Well, they passing
Bloodhound.
packages
This is
back and
Antler.
forth
Antler lost
underwater,
contact. Charlie.
holding their breath.
Last known at bearing 344. Range 2,200
Well,
yards.
that's a good
from
run,
Bloodhound.
Charlie. Or, Antler.
Combat sonar. Contact. Able. Now bears 3.
Nice.
1. Range 2,000.
Critical hit. I think you got him.
The enemy is retreating. All escorts.
Enemy is
return to
retreating. Run
formation
away!
And resume sonar responsibility.
All right, hooray! We are victorious! This is actually a very good run for us. And let's see, our final grade is... We got an A! Sunk 4 U-boats, lost 3 ships. We rescued 131 survivors. So proud. Put that on our report card.
That was one hell of a fight. The enemy tried time after time, but they could not penetrate our defenses. We protected the convoy well. We lost too many ships in that battle, even though we fought valiantly. I am pleased to say that the crew performed superbly today. We thwarted the German attack. I'm pretty sure that the Germans haven't yet realized how powerful the radar is. Had they known, they wouldn't have approached the convoy on the surface. All things considered, things are going really well. Jansen and our Canadian allies got us this far. Now we can turn the convoy over and head home. The system of mid-ocean handoff gets us home more often, since we do not have to cross the entire Atlantic twice.
Well, hey, be glad you're not crossing the Pacific, buddy, where you probably would be. Oh, the Admiral wants to talk to us.
Good morning, Captain. Please be seated. There were a few ships for you to guard. The convoys will be growing in size. Our intelligence was right. There was a low threat from the Germans. You and your crew did their job. You kept losses low. You and your crew performed superbly this time, with many U-boats sunk or disabled. You and your crew can be proud. You completed your mission with minimal losses to our ships while inflicting great damage on the Germans.
All right, overall, major victory. Okay.